In this episode, you're going to hear me coach two women separately, Katie and Camille. And it's interesting how the stars aligned and they showed up with similar challenges. They're different, but some similarities. And yeah, you're just going to hear me trying to help them. And I hope this serves you, and I hope you notice what I'm doing. So you could be a therapist or coach and potentially learn something, or you could be a client or a student or just a human cruising around the planet. And I imagine you're going to find some value here. Because look, we all struggle with loneliness at times. We all feel like we're the only ones struggling with what we're struggling with. And there's tremendous courage exhibited by both of these women to put themselves out there and to have their voices shared here. So I just want to thank these two women again for being brave enough to use their voice to share, hey, I need some help here. And we're sharing it with you. Leave a comment below, and we'd love to hear what impacted you most about either one of these mini sessions. How could you relate? How are you feeling? And that'll be your action step.
Hi.
Hey.
It's nice to meet you. I've been watching your videos for probably about a year and a half now. And all your advice.
Great. Camille, nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
Yeah. We may have one other person hop in. We'll see. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Katie. And then I'm going to tell Katie, I'll just say hi to her and then we'll get started. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Where are you from, Camille?
I'm from New York. So I live on Long Island.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Okay, great.
I've been here for a while now.
Nice. There's Katie.
It's like the toughest place to date. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Katie, what's up? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I'm psyched you all want to do this. So I'm going to start with, does someone want to go first? I'm just going to start with one of you. I'll have the other person just turn your video off and mute yourself. And then it'll, I don't know, like 15 minutes-ish each person. I just want to try to help you if I can with whatever you're wrestling with, you know?
Thanks. Camille, you were here first. I feel like you should go first.
Oh, you can go first if you want. It's fine.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, no, you're good. You're good. Go ahead. Go first.
All right. I'll do it.
Okay, cool. So Camille, just mute yourself and then turn off your video, and then we'll come back to you here shortly. All right. Katie, what's up?
Hey. Oh, just finished my work day, and I'm excited to be chatting with you.
Okay, cool. Thanks for being courageous to ask for some help here, and maybe me helping you in some way will help someone else, which would be really cool.
That's where the courage is coming from, is hopefully it can help some others as much as me. Yeah,
right on. Okay, so give me just a little context of what your question is or what you're wrestling with, and then we can get into the details.
So the biggest thing is I'm single and I'm okay with it, but I find myself yearning for a strong, trusted, real, genuine, romantic connection for several reasons. One of those is I know that it's going to help me touch deeper into my childhood trauma, and needing that trusted partner that can help me then work on that just by simply them existing and recognizing that I'm still a work in progress.
Yeah.
And I'm just struggling a lot with feeling lonely, but also knowing my worth and knowing not to waste time with people that haven't earned it.
Yeah.
It's such a big wrestle. I guess the other half of that is it's hard to know how to love yourself if you weren't loved properly. And then this whole, keep trying to love yourself. But like, I'm all about the fast, efficient ways to do things within reason. And I know that having a strong, solid connection with someone would fast track my ability to love myself. So I'm not sure if I gave you a question in there to jump from.
Well, let me see if I hear you. what you're working with over there. First of all, I love your vision for yourself around the kind of partnership you want.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And I also really appreciate your awareness that to love ourselves, we do that in the context of relationships. You know, sure, you can sit on a meditation cushion and try to love yourself, or journal and try to love yourself, right? And there's value in that, actually. But where the fast track, like you said, is being in relationship with others. It doesn't have to be one partner, by the way. Be close friends, family members, etc. The high stakes relationships that push us into places where we doubt ourselves, feel insecure, feel inadequate, feel less than, where we judge ourselves. And those are all the places where we can learn to embrace ourselves. And if we have a willing friend, partner, etc., then they can practice loving us there too. And then it does increase our self-love. So I just appreciated that frame. And then the acknowledgement that you're lonely. I hear you. You're definitely not alone there in terms of the folks out there that are single, longing for a partner, but feeling, alone, really. So anyway, just thanks for naming it all.
Thanks.
Yeah. And as we just connect here, what are you feeling in this moment? If you have any contact with that?
I can feel a lot of anxiety in my chest right now. And I think I just need to, because part of me wants to cry. I know that's where a lot of my healing can come from, is, if you can imagine an infant screaming for, feed me, love me, change me, and those needs aren't met and they just learn to stop crying. I've sort of done that a lot in my life, as I've stopped crying. So sometimes that might happen over these next 15 minutes. I might just start crying, and half of it's giving me permission to just do that. I'm feeling anxious. But
yeah. So let's just go slow here and just take a few breaths like you just did there. And just allow whatever's coming up to be there. And maybe just when you're ready, describe what you're noticing inside, like as it's happening right now.
I want a really, really big, comforting hug right now. It's wanting that comfort. And I don't have a lot of that. There's a lot of people that have been pushed away on their own doing and my own doing as a result of this healing journey. So I'm trying to rebuild those high stake relationships. And having a really trusted, comforting pair of arms to go to is hard in my lower stake relationships.
Yeah. Well, just right now, I want you to come back to this moment and see if there's a way you can give yourself, and you don't even have to move your body here, but just imagine giving yourself, the younger part of you, perhaps, a big hug.
I've done this in therapy, and it's such a strange feeling, being both that little kid and that adult, because that little kid wasn't given what she needed, but this adult knows better in spite of that.
Right. So just stay with it for a minute. Just stay with her and let her know in your own way internally that you're here. You're not going anywhere. She had people not be there for her, but you're here now. Yeah. And what does that feel like right now?
It's comforting.
Yeah, you're comforting you, right?
Yeah.
I get
trying
it's
to be
not
okay
the same
with just
as
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not the same as like someone just bear hugging you right now. Another flesh human being, right? But you're there, which matters. It is something.
Yep. I'm still here.
Yeah, what else are you noticing? That was a big breath I saw you take there.
That I don't take enough time to recognize that I'm still here. That I am still here as a result of me taking my steps forward, for being willing to reach out and get the help and use that help. But I'm still here. And it's tough because I do wrestle a lot with not so much wanting to die, just having a hard time finding more hope to keep going. A lot of that's because I don't come back to this moment, that I'm still here and I still have my back. I just haven't been proving it.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. And you matter, and see if that's true right now, that you matter.
I can feel it a little bit, but I know that muscle needs some more time at gym.
Yeah. And see if the younger one in you, if you kind of whisper that to her, if she can hear it or take it in or believe you.
That makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
Both in sadness and in comfort. It's
Yeah. Just allow it to come. Yeah. Just let it move through. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
What are you noticing right now?
Goosebumps. Starting to believe more of what I'm saying because I'm feeling it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. That young one in you has taken it in, yeah?
A lot. Yeah.
What else are you noticing or feeling right now?
I still feel like I'm holding back how much I want to release and let go. Many years of anxiety stuck in my body, and some of those deep relieving cries. It's like closing the door on a flood before it has the chance to fully let go.
And can that be okay? That there's a part of you that doesn't want to fully let go. Can that be okay right now?
It could. I think I'm just, I'm being self-conscious. And I shouldn't have to worry about that because I don't want anyone else to feel how they feel. Or being worried about how they look while they're trying to feel.
Right. Yeah, just let it come. I'm right here.
Right, that little girl feels like she's safe, and then the adult me is sad for that little kid. And both, the little kid doesn't know that she's even mad at anybody. Me, I'm also mad on her behalf right now. That this had to happen to her in the first place.
Right. Yeah. Notice that whole range of anger and sadness and grief and whatever else is here. It's a lot.
Yeah, that grief's hard.
And notice how you're staying with it. You're really keep coming in and out of this, like courageously, like just meeting it.
It's been one of the hardest things of this healing journey is knowing how to touch into those real feelings and not be ashamed of them and not be afraid of them. And just because I don't know how to name them yet, whether it's a feeling in my chest or a logical explanation, just being able to feel them. I don't do this enough. I don't sit with how I feel deeply enough.
Well, like you said, sometimes we need another person to be there with us, you know, and it can kind of, that's present, that will, you know, hold us in our hurt or our pain. So, yeah.
I feel like me and little me, I feel like there's a little bit of a weight that's been lifted. then I think she trusts that there's another adult that is actually capable of caring for her.
Yeah, you seem to be building that capacity, right?
Yeah.
To mother her in a way.
6 years coming, yeah.
Wow. When did you start your journey here, your kind of personal growth journey?
6 years ago.
Yeah.
January.
What happened?
I was turning 30 in 2018, and I said I didn't want to continue doing the same things I was doing. I had been overweight my whole life, so I went to a 12-step program, and that very first meeting, they opened with a quote that basically said, just let us love you until you learn how to love yourself.
Mm.
And over the years, I've just been doing my own research, and that's kind of how I found you and navigated some relationships. And so yeah, 6 years ago, and it's been a roller coaster ride.
I bet. Yeah, it often is. Wow, good for you. So there's been some losses along the way, though, is kind of what I heard earlier. Yeah.
On the emotional scale, yeah, both grief for my own life, grief for relationships that I hoped would repair or work out, loss of relationships that, like, I was in a long-term relationship and I thought we were going to spend our lives together, and we were almost engaged, and it fell apart, and that was about 1.5 years ago, and it's been a really hard climb from the tail end of that relationship to now, to come back to a place where I'm ready to start taking care of both adult me and little Katie at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is why I learned, yearn for a partner, is it's really heavy, and I'm strong and I'm capable, but sometimes it would just be nice to have some help and support, not because somebody feels like I have to, but because they see me and who I am, and they're like,
yeah, and they want to.
Yeah. That I'm worth it.
Yeah, they think you're fucking awesome, and they just want to hold you in your time of need or whatever. Yep, you can have that. You deserve that, and may it be so. You know, you're on the path to create that for yourself. It seems like to me.
Yeah, I'd rather wait for that right person and make sure I'm actually ready to receive that love. That's something I discovered on my healing path, is that I couldn't even receive love because I couldn't trust it.
Right.
Then I learned to trust it. And when that first love starts to let you down, and then lets you down real hard, that's a huge gut punch.
It is. Yeah. And as Maya Angelou says, have enough courage to trust love one more time, always one more time.
And I keep doing that. People have let me down, and I see so many folks around me that say, that's it, I'm done helping people. And I just keep going on and trying to be the person that I know I needed, whether I know the person or not. Boundaries need to be in place there, and that's hard to navigate, but I'd rather offer my kindness to someone, and if they're choosing to misrepresent themselves, that's their karma that they'll have to answer to, that I know I did right by me. If I get screwed, then that's on them.
Man, I can so relate here. Wow, I'm just appreciating everything you're saying, because I can relate in my own life. Even now, there's, relationships have changed over the years. And anyway, so I'm just so digging your courage and your self-awareness and your belief. Do you feel that belief in yourself right now?
A lot more now than I probably have in well over a year.
Where do you, I just want you to feel that just as we kind of wind down here, just to make contact with that, knowing, that self-trust, that belief that you're on the right path, you're doing it.
It immediately feels like, holy shit, like, what have you been doing this whole time? But also like, good for you, kid, Some people never want to take that first step.
Right. And you're doing it.
Again.
Again and again and again. So many first steps, and here you are.
I like to joke with myself that everywhere you go, you're halfway there.
Yeah.
Kind of how I'm feeling.
I know. When those days get hard, man, it's like, I just have to remember something like that. So thanks for that reminder for all of us. Yeah. You're earning wisdom here too, just so you know. You're like, because you're in the trenches dealing with your own life so courageously and directly. This is what creates elders in the world, and people who can teach and share good stuff with others is people who make the journey, and you're doing that.
I do have to say I've gotten a lot of that from you over the last 5-6 years, having read some things and watching your own awareness grow and how you communicate that to people, and how it's all about sharing this knowledge so others can get there. I sometimes feel like less of a elder wisdom person and more like Oprah, like you get recovery, and you get advice, and people don't always want that, but that's how I feel. Is I want to be generous with what I've learned, so that others can stop hurting themselves.
Amen. Yeah, thanks for that too. There's a lot of people who are out there hurting themselves, hurting each other, and hurting themselves. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is probably a good place to stop, because we got Camille coming in here. Just want to really appreciate you. Thanks so much for just being you, Katie.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I feel better. That was a great chat.
Yeah, cool. It was really sweet and lovely just hanging with you.
Likewise.
Right on. Yo. As you know, I've dedicated my life to helping people with their relationships, right? I want to solve this problem so that all of you can work through your differences and have fulfilling, amazing, badass partnerships and relationships, family, coworkers, friends, whoever. And I have trained a ton of relationship coaches, almost 100 certified relationship coaches, to help you specifically work through your relationship challenges. So I want to invite you to a special deal we're offering to the podcast listener, where you can get 50% off your first month of coaching with one of our amazing relationship coaches. Okay, if you're tired of therapy, it feels like that's going around in a circle, or you want to actually set goals and accomplish your relationship goals, hire a relationship coach. Okay, go to relationshipschool.com/get coaching now, and then use the coupon code FIRST50 to get the 50% deal off your first month of relationship coaching. Super psyched to have our amazing coaches serve you and help you get to the next level. Hey y'all, I hope you have ordered my new book by now, Getting to Zero: How to Work Through Conflict in Your High Stakes Relationships. It's already getting dozens of 5-star reviews on Amazon. I've heard from a lot of you. Thank you for buying the book, buying it on Audible, buying it on Kindle. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate the support. I think this book is going to help a lot of people. It's all about how do we get back to a good place after some kind of disconnection or rupture or conflict. That's what the entire book is about. And if you want a roadmap on how to get back to a good place, what I call zero, please order my book. GettingToZeroBook.com. Get you some extra goodies, a conflict quiz, some additional PDFs, etc. And you can order it in all the places and support your local bookstores. Camille, is there anything you want to say to Katie real quick? Because you were kind of listening in a little bit.
Katie, I know I wanted to tell you I've been where you've been, and it's really hard, but you'll get there. I promise.
Thanks, girl.
You will. It's like I've spent the last 8 years really working on myself, and I'm now at a point where I'm very healthy as to where I was. So I promise you'll get there. It just takes lots and lots of time, and you have to be very, very patient with yourself.
And Camille, just being here, what do you feel? How are you impacted by her? Just like the emotion, what was the emotion that came up for you?
It's hard seeing other people in pain like that.
Yeah. So you feel what? Sad?
I feel sad because it's
inspired.
Sad and inspired because it's nice to know that there's other people who are going through or have gone through the same thing that I have.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Amen.
So, but cool. I promise it'll get easier.
Thanks, Katie. Cool. Thanks, Camille. So Camille, What's going on with you? Let's touch into your world for a minute.
So
I appreciate you're feeling some feelings here. So I just appreciate your vulnerability too.
Yeah, mine is, I don't know, mine's interesting because I got divorced about 8 years ago, and about 3 years ago, I met someone who I really like. We really enjoyed being together. We were really good together, or all this stuff. And this is actually how I found you, because I was trying to figure out answers as to why he was the way he was. But I spent, like I told Katie and I told you, but I spent a long time just working on myself and learning to be better and learning how to be alone and how to like be vulnerable and how to self-validate and be able to be okay with being by myself. I spent a lot of time doing that. And I worked really hard at being a better partner, like learning how to be a better partner and how to, and being a better partner. He comes along and he's great until he wasn't.
How long into the relationship did that change?
About 2 years, so we were together 3 years, so this last year. So about the time I started watching your videos.
Okay.
So about a year ago.
But a year into the relationship, it started not doing so good, or 2 years into the relationship?
About 2 years. About 2 years.
So it's pretty good for 2 years, and then the third year sucked.
Yeah. There was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of, he's not very good at resolving conflict. I watch a lot of your videos on resolving conflict. His idea is to just run away and then come back and hope that everything will be okay.
Yeah.
And that's not the way I communicate, especially with conflict, because I've learned that with conflict, you have to address it. You can't just run away from it. You have to address it and solve it, and then you can move on.
Yeah, or you can run away for a little bit. You just got to come back and deal with it.
Right, exactly. And we implemented that. I said, look, if you need to go away for a little while and come back and discuss it, that's great. And then once we kind of implemented that, we started getting much, much better. And then his daughter got pregnant. She's 20. So she got pregnant at 19. And he just completely reverted back to the avoidant, running away. I can't talk to you about this. Like, there was no discussion. He literally ghosted me.
Wow. After all that time together.
Yes.
He got so triggered and stressed by his daughter. It sounds like that he just couldn't deal with you anymore. He just disappeared.
Right. And we did talk about our issues and we talked through them. So we were fine. When this happened, we were actually on very stable ground. So what my problem is, I can't figure out, sometimes I feel like I did something wrong. So I can't navigate. So like, it's hard to feel like, I feel like I did something wrong, but I know I didn't do something wrong. And I tell myself that because I know I didn't do anything wrong.
But it sounds like
I can't get that out of my head.
Right. You're conflicted is what I'm hearing. There's a part of you that feels like you did something wrong and another part of you that feels like you did not do something wrong.
Right.
And is that why we're talking here? Is that what you want some help with?
Yeah, like, because I can't navigate how great we were versus where we are now. I'm having trouble trying to get over that or resolve it in my brain so that I can move on so I can move on.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. How long ago did he sort of ghost, is in your words?
10 months ago.
Oh, so it's been a while. And you haven't talked to him since?
I talked 2 weeks after he ghosted me. He showed up at my door and we talked. And that's when he finally told me that his daughter was pregnant. And that's why he ran away. And we haven't talked since then.
And that last time you saw him, did he say something about like, hey, I'm going to be leaving for a while? Or did he say see you tomorrow? Or did he say whatever?
He said, I'm coming back. I just have to figure this out. And that was it.
Wow. That's so hurtful.
Yeah.
And so dishonest, really, because he hasn't come back, right?
Exactly.
Wow. And let me ask you just a couple, might be unrelated questions. Did you ever have a loss like this when you were a kid? Where a friend
No.
disappeared, or parents, or anyone, siblings, or
Well,
death in the
no,
family?
not really. My mother passed away about 3 years ago. My father passed away. During all of this, my father also passed away.
Okay. Wow. So there's some compounding grief here.
Yeah, there's a little bit in there.
Yeah. All right.
But it's I'm as people say, I'm really weird with like death and grief. Like for me, it was more of they were both very sick when they passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was more of okay, they're no longer in pain and they're free,
Right. Yeah.
So I was able to kind of really go through most of that grief,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
this is the first time something like this has ever happened to me.
Where someone just disappeared on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm just hearing that in the last 10 months since it happened, do you describe to me, do you go in and out of clarity and you're kind of moved on and then you fall back down? Or is it like you're kind of constantly in it, just doubting and wondering and freaking out and emotional? Like
kind of the first one.
Uh-huh.
Like I'll get weeks of clarity, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm just upset again.
And do you know what triggers that upset? Is it like a picture or a thought or a memory or
like a thought or a memory, or a thought of something that we did together, and then I'm like, oh crap, we did that together, and then I'm back where I was again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Uh-huh. And what are you feeling right now as we talk about this? What's the emotion?
I'm hurt. I'm very, very hurt.
Yeah.
But I'm also very, very angry. Because I'm very, very angry and I'm trying not to, and I tried really hard when he showed up not to let because I usually have pretty good control over my emotions. Like I've worked on learning to control my emotions and learning to, when I need to yell or scream or do things like that. Like I've worked really hard on that. And so, but it took all my strength not to yell at him when he was here. And I knew yelling at him wouldn't be the right thing to do, despite how angry and hurt I was.
Totally. Are you a yeller in general?
No,
Do you yell?
no. I used to be. I used to yell. And then I read a book called Calming the Emotional Storm. And I implemented a lot of that. And I also started doing yoga. So between the two, I learned how to regulate my emotions a lot.
Okay.
So
let's let me give you a couple of let me offer a couple of things here. Because what I'm hearing is you kind of want to move on.
Yeah.
Right. And you're not sure how, because you're judging yourself sometimes, like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And sometimes you get into the anger of him, like, well, he did something wrong here, right?
Right. And I think it's more of like, what's wrong with me? How come I can't keep a good relationship going?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Let's tease this out. Is that more of what you're upset about now?
I think so.
Or is it that you still want to kind of, quote, get over this guy?
I think it's both.
Which in this moment, which one has more charge or weight to it, or like heaviness or emotion to it?
The first one.
Okay, describe it again in a sentence.
I feel like I said before, I feel like I did something wrong, or there's something wrong with me.
Yeah, and okay, and you're globalizing this to like your life a little bit. Like, how come I can't find a partner and keep a partner? And you're kind of going into that kind of space, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Because it's hard watching other people. I know everybody says, well, they all have their own problems, but it's hard watching other people be so happy in a relationship, and you know.
Yeah, totally. You feel lonely, you feel jealous, you feel like, what's wrong with me? You judge yourself. Yeah. All the things. Okay. So I'm hearing that there's two charges here. One is really this past, this guy and how the whole thing went down. And there's still some self-doubt there and some upset about it. So you haven't totally moved on from that.
Right.
And then there's this other thing, which is like, why can't I find and keep a partner, and what's wrong with me?
Right.
Yeah. And what do you do when you're in this place? What do you try? How do you work with this yourself in your own life?
I usually, I'll go exercise. I box. So I'll go out and I'll usually just box and I hit the bag and I just let my thoughts flow until until they're gone, until they're done. And then, but I'll talk to myself through and be like, it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with you.
But you kind of believe that.
I kind of believe that.
Right.
You're right. And I think my confidence, because when I met him, my confidence was really high and I was really I was really confident in myself and how I handled life and how I was doing things. And then this happened and it just knocked my confidence.
Totally. I can relate in my own ways about different things in my life where I get a beat down by something and then I question myself and my confidence goes down, right?
Yeah.
So very normal. I just want to say there's nothing wrong in a certain sense here.
Right.
You're a human being who's having a pretty standard human experience. I know it's obviously really painful, but I just want to say that because you're not unique in that way.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. This is fairly common. Okay. Well, there's two places to go here. One is I just want to help you. Let's start with the ex-boyfriend thing first, because I think if you can make more meaning out of that relationship ending and kind of really appreciate how you showed up and that you're moving on and things like that, I think it'll help with the second thing.
Okay.
This bigger judgment you have about yourself and the bigger feelings there. So I always suggest when a relationship like this ends, and especially if someone wasn't good to you in the ending, like he really hurt you, right? In the way that he left. It was kind of like an affair. It's just like, I just disappear,
Yeah.
He's no longer choosing you. He's choosing something else, whether it's his daughter or his own life or his own, avoidance, whatever. He's choosing something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's feeling the feelings, which you're doing, but you can't, there's a difference between dwelling and feeling. I always talk about, you've probably heard me talk about those.
Yeah.
Dwelling is thinking about it and staying in the feelings, but you're going in a circle, right? It's actually not sequencing the feelings.
Right.
Like people who grieve for years is like, you're kind of going you're in an eddy and in a river versus you're flowing down the river. So I want you to stay in the river, which is the river takes you to a new destination because you're present with the pain. But eventually the pain subsides and you've moved on, right? So there's an embodied way to feel the feelings in a really present way, and the feelings just run out eventually. But there's the cognitive part, which I think you have to also sync up with the emotions, which is equally as important in my world. So you could stack up a list of benefits, pros, to not only the relationship ending, but it ending how it ended. So let's just think of a couple right now. What's one benefit that the relationship ended the way it did? A benefit to you. What's it helping you with here?
I'm not sure. I think that's where I'm stuck, is that I'm not sure what the benefit was of it ending the way it did.
Right. You're seeing more drawbacks than benefits. You're seeing more disadvantages than advantages, right? So that's an imbalanced mind. We need to balance your mind. So it's like, it's painful, but gosh, I learned some lessons. Right. So what's it inviting in your life in this very moment with me?
Learning, wisdom.
Yes. Yep. It's pushing you to learn. Learn what?
Vulnerable. I have a hard time being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 4 years or so, I've learned how to be more vulnerable.
Yeah.
But I think what's positive about it is being more vulnerable. Something I've learned from is being more vulnerable and being able to talk to other people about a situation instead of trying to figure out how to solve it on my own.
Totally. And how does that help your relational life when you're more vulnerable and you're learning how to talk to other people?
I can open up and rely on people more.
Mm-hmm.
I think because that's probably goes back to my childhood too, is that like I've always relied on myself.
Yeah.
To get things done.
Yeah.
And not that my mother wasn't there to help me or my father wasn't there to help me. It was just easier.
Yeah. And emotionally, they might not have been there for you, right? Like a lot of our parents, they were there physically, but maybe not like really holding you in your pain and upset.
Yeah.
So you're learning how to do that. And how does that help other people when you're vulnerable with someone in your life that you care about? How does that help them?
I think it helps them learn that it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah. And what kind of relationship do you have when you're vulnerable, two people are vulnerable versus two people are defended and just talking superficially? What's the difference?
It's healthy. I guess there's more connection.
There's definitely more connection. I think they're way juicier. Like those kind of relationships are way more deep and interesting and fulfilling and meaningful, right?
Right. Fulfilling. That's what I was going to say. It's like it's a fulfilling relationship.
Yeah. Okay. So is one of the benefits of this shitty ending to this relationship is that it's getting you more vulnerable, which could allow you to have even more vulnerable relationships, which is more fulfilling and meaningful to you. Right. Okay. Is that true?
True. Very true.
Okay, so I want you to do your homework, and you would keep going. It's like, what else? How else is this helping me? Because look, you're kind of a fighter. Like you actually box. You're kind of like self-reliant, right? And this is like giving you the beat down to help you actually become more relational and more vulnerable. Is kind of what I'm hearing. And to do what? What is the thing that the second thing you mentioned? What has it the potential to help you with? This larger issue we talked about earlier.
I don't...
Remember how we talked about the self-judgment? Right.
That's not my fault. I'm a good person and I've worked really hard and I feel like I'm at the level that I should be at.
Right on.
I feel like I'm where I should be in my life, and it's taken me a long time to do that. And I just need to keep reminding myself that you are. Well, I want to say perfect, but I'm perfectly imperfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like me, like everybody, right? That's beautiful. I love it.
That I'm perfectly imperfect, and it's okay.
And you're okay.
Yeah, and that I'm okay, and you'll be okay.
Yeah. Okay, so say it again. What is this breakup? However bad it went down, what is it helping you with in your personal journey?
Learning how to be vulnerable and that it's okay to be perfectly imperfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's okay to struggle. So like it's pushing you so that you can accept more and more of yourself. Right? Right. Because you've been a bit of a mess off and on since this happened. You've been really in pain. And there's judging that, or there's like, you know what? I'm sensitive. This hurt a lot. And I'm riding the waves. And I'm going to get stronger by riding these waves. Right. And I'm prepping. In fact, I'm prepping myself by healing this. I'm prepping myself for the next relationship. Right. You're in training. Yeah. Do you see that? Yeah. How do you see that?
As I learn more and more about being vulnerable and being vulnerable in a relationship, like the more I open up, the more I'm able to accept how other people are. Right?
Including who?
Me.
Yes. Yep. I learn how to accept more of other people. I learn how to accept more of me. Right. Right. Because sometimes we need a relationship to get so bad that we finally take a stand for ourselves. We finally embrace some part of ourselves that we've been kind of hiding out or shoving aside. Right? This guy pushed you into a place that's obviously painful, but it's also really beautiful because you're getting to know yourself better here.
Right.
You're getting vulnerable. You're getting super honest.
Right.
You're clear too, probably, that you don't want to be with someone who's going to treat you like that, right?
No. No, I don't.
Yeah, hell no, right?
No, especially someone who has a therapist but refuses to work on himself.
Yeah,
that's the worst part.
That's just bullshit, right? Wow.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I think I don't have an easy answer for you in terms of the second bigger issue here around just accepting more of yourself around, gosh, why me, and why can't I do this relationship thing? But I think we're moving in that direction. Would you agree?
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. How do you see it? Like, how do you let's tie it kind of all together now for you. Tell me what you're getting right now.
I'm feeling more positive about it. I'm feeling more positive about the whole thing and how he left. Because I think that was the harder part, is I'm feeling so negative about it, and I couldn't see any of the positive,
Yeah. Yeah. You're kind of flooded there. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
Totally.
Like running in a hamster wheel, like circles.
Yeah.
And so I think that's helping me to see it in more positive light of what I'm learning and how I'm learning how to be more vulnerable, and that it's okay.
And that who's okay?
That I'm okay.
Yeah. It's okay, but you're okay also, right?
Right.
Even in the deep, vulnerable place you're in, you're okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that in your body somewhere? Do you kind of like, is there an anchor in there where you can feel like, hey, I'm okay? Does it have like a sensation or a place?
Yeah, it feels like a rock. Like a rock that I can stand on.
Mm. So it's down by your feet or by your butt or where?
Kind of like in my stomach a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Kind of like it's just weight. It's a weight and it's a rock, but it also feels like it's a weight lifted off my shoulders as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've placed the weight somewhere else.
Yeah. And let's say it's yeah. And let's say it's in your stomach and it feels like positive. What does it say? Does it have a word or a phrase or something?
I don't know, kind of like warm. I don't know, happy. Warm, happy. Feeling a little more better about the situation. Like just better.
I want you to try just saying, I'm okay, and feel that rock in your belly as you say that.
Okay. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you notice?
It gets stronger as I say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got a warrior in here somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But not like a warrior that wants to hurt people, a warrior that wants to like climb your own mountain and be the best you can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you're okay.
Yeah.
You're worthy of love, respect. You can have a great partnership someday. Yes. It's like that. Like I really want you to believe that.
Right.
Continue to try that on, okay? Maybe a daily practice or something for you.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
I think something I need to do is just like, I'm okay. You're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm. But not you don't want to, like if a little 5-year-old Camille is hurting, you don't want to like tell her to suck it up, right?
Right. Because I think that's what I've been doing a lot of my life, is just sucking it up.
I think so. I think that kind of boxer woman in you is like, yeah, suck it up. Like, let's do this. And it's going to require a different kind of commentary in your own mind, that with this kind of like we were doing with Katie earlier. It's like how we talk to kids and how we talk to ourselves is everything, right? I've got a daughter, and if you were like, suck it up to her, I would probably not want her around you.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
But you have another part of you that, what would you say to the younger part of you when she's having a hard time? What would you say?
It's okay to be vulnerable.
Right.
It's okay. It's okay to feel those feelings.
Yeah. Love that. And how about I'm here? So like you, the adults, are here for her, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 Cool. Well, is this an okay place to pause?
I think so. Yeah.
Cool. Let's bring Katie back up if she wants to say hi. Looks like she might still be here. Katie, anything you want to say to Camille here? Just witnessing, feeling your heart with her.
I'm just proud of you. Had you gone first, I think I probably would have said the same thing to you. Just keep believing in yourself, and that it does get better. Somebody else walking out on you, or me who've longed for that connection, I could have chose to stay in that relationship I was in, but it wasn't giving me everything I needed. And from what it sounds like, you weren't getting everything you needed because he couldn't support you and he couldn't support himself. And you deserve to have somebody that can support himself so that he can be there for you. And that just puts you on a different wavelength. And I'm learning how blessing and curse-like it is to have these new standards for myself. Means it's harder, but I believe in you. You're doing the things. You're doing the things.
Yeah, she is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's sweet. Well, thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, you two. Just there's some similarities, right, with you two?
Yeah.
It's freaky.
Yeah. Yeah. I just appreciate you both for your courage and your helping people here as we release this sometime. I know there'll be a lot of people that can relate. So thank you for your courage.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity to share. I think that's why we're all here in some ways, to help each other. And that's about it. Is what good are we doing if we learn to be better and we don't help our fellows along the way?
Very true.
Yeah. Anything you want to say?
You've helped me, Camille.
You're welcome.
In 25 minutes. You being so open and you being vulnerable is exactly what I need in my life. So you, by being you, helped this random stranger all the way over here. So thank you for being you.
You're welcome. I would tell you, being vulnerable is like the hardest. It's probably the hardest lesson I've had to learn. It's been hard. It's been hard, and like he said, having to learn how to address that differently than what I did before.
Yeah.
That's where the victory is, though, is knowing, like you said, you used to yell. I used to yell. I could relate so much to what you said, and to be able to hold the old way of doing things. That's how you know we're doing all right. Is I could have yelled, but I didn't. And what I learned in this moment means I'll be even better the next time.
Yeah.
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 Cool. Well, thanks again, you two. Just so hats off to you and your journey here. You really touched me personally. So thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks. It was really nice meeting you.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you again sometime.
Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
If you are with an emotionally unavailable partner, or have been, and you haven't quite got the lesson yet about you, and you want to look in the mirror and you want to dig deep, because that's what we do here at the Relationship School, we have reworked one of our courses into a group coaching experience. It's called End the Struggle with Him, Roadmap and Monthly Group Coaching Membership. And it's super affordable, $49 a month, and we would love you to come check it out. If you still continue to attract emotionally unavailable partners, if you're like, what is this about me? It's loaded with value. There's live group coaching. There's several courses in there. It's worth well over $3,000, this experience. And even in there is the letter, commentary on the letter my wife wrote to me after our second breakup. that ultimately had me put 2 feet into the relationship. So this is super cool, and I want you to come check it out. Okay. relationshipschool.com/ESH roadmap. ESH roadmap. And I look forward to seeing you in there.